Hello and welcome to the Mother Tongue podcast. I am here today with a very special guest whom I met in my recent travels in Uganda. Keddy Scovia Atim is an actor, journalist, and entrepreneur whose creative fire is fueled by storytelling with purpose. With a bachelor's in mass communications from St. Lawrence University, she began her career as a news reporter for urban TV in Kampala, where she brought human interest stories to life with depth and heart. Keddy went on to produce impact driven films for the Teso Anti Corruption Coalition and later became a radio host for Veritas Radio and Television. She is the eldest of three daughters and raised by a proud soldier father. She carries forward a legacy of integrity, resilience, and meaningful contribution in everything she creates. Keddy is a mother of three, ages 9, 7, and 5. And I met Keddy just by coincidence or by fate at a
By faith.
pool. By fate, yeah. We met at a pool,
Yeah.
and it was so funny because I was sitting in that gazebo and just sitting there, and my girls were in the pool, and you came up and you were like, "You need to move those things, like to make space for you." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm like, "She hates me," or she was already sitting here, and I didn't
Oh,
notice. You were just really assertive. And then and then you started
yeah.
asking me because I was journaling if I was a writer and then that sparked like a
Yeah.
3 hour conversation and we became friends and yeah, it was fun. So I'm so glad to be in
Yeah. Yeah.
conversation with you again. Welcome.
hmm Thank
And
you. Thank you very
yeah. Um Yeah, we actually that day we got into a conversation around motherhood because I was sharing with you some of the things I was observing at the birth center in Uganda and how the mothers didn't seem very interested or
hmm
excited when their babies came out and I was wanting your perspective as a Ugandan woman.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. And you shared with me your thoughts, and then we got into like a whole rabbit hole about motherhood and men's lack of involvement, um,
hmm
which happens here too, but particularly in Uganda. Um, do you want to share a little bit about that and maybe your own mothering experience in that regard?
Mm. Thank you very much, and thank you for having me. I'm more than excited to be here. I've been waiting for this for a very long time. We had a very long discussion, and we talked about motherhood and also about the man here in Uganda. I'll speak about Uganda because I'm Ugandan. I grew up from here and I know. Mostly, I don't know. There are a lot. I'll start by there are a lot of single mothers here in Uganda in particular. Surprisingly, even in marriages, practically they're single because men do not initially be very much involved in raising kids. Yeah. And they leave the women to basically raise kids by themselves. Some of them probably they say they're working, like taken up by work and stuff like that. But some of them intentionally just refuse to be involved in their children's lives. So
Mm.
basically, it's something that is rampant here in Uganda in particular. I don't know about USA, but that is what it is here. Most of the women here are single mothers. I'll
Mm.
give you an example where I'm staying right now. Most of the apartments, there are no men here. Every apartment has a woman and her kids. No man.
Wow.
Yeah,
How many
no man.
people are in the apartment building?
Um, three families, let's say three families, but they're all women with kids. I've never seen any man come here. I've never seen them. Of course, we don't have the kind of conversation with them, but I see them struggling with their children by themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's something that is common, very common here.
And what do you think is driving that?
Um, I feel I don't know. In particular, I don't know. One, I think I shared with you this earlier on, whereby men are just not ready to be fathers, right?
Mm-hmm.
They get involved with women, and I think out of pleasure, and it results to children. And at the end of the day, they just disappear. And then the second thing I shared with you is people here don't take family planning as anything that is important.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, especially in rural areas, they don't even take it as anything serious. All they do is get involved in sexual pleasure, and that is it. They don't care that they're supposed to um, take care of themselves or control birth or something like that. And
Yeah.
it's never taken serious here. Yeah, it's not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Totally not. And then also, I shared with you um, churches, religion is plays a bigger part in this, and it's something that I don't know what to say, but it's very dangerous. It's affecting our community big time because they're quoting the Bible that fill the world. You know, when you get pregnant, just go and deliver, and don't even think about um, um, family planning or pills, whatever you may call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they think, okay, they'll tell them that it's damaging their bodies, damaging their organs. At the end of the day, when you keep taking these pills, you'll not be able to produce kids, blah blah blah. So many things. So it's just people don't know about family planning here.
Yeah.
They
It's
don't. Yeah.
a lot of misinformation.
Yes, thank you. Misinformation.
Yeah.
So it's really driving people insane. So yeah.
Yeah, and I know you're a single mom. I'm a single mom.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
yeah, it definitely happens here as well. In the families that I serve, mostly the men are very involved and they show up, and some of them show up to every prenatal, but and others don't, but they're all at the birth and they're trying to be involved. But it definitely is a problem here as well. What was your experience like in becoming a mother and like how you ended
Mm.
up as a single mom?
Oh, wow. Like for example, it's sometimes not very easy for me to talk about this because as a woman, when you get into a relationship or a marriage or whatever, we don't always think about divorce. We don't always think about becoming single mothers. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Um, Being the father of my kids, he was my first love.
Hmm.
Yeah, he was my first love. We started dating when we were little, we were young, and I thought he was the man of my dreams. I was like, oh, this is it. Like this is it because we'd never lived together. We would just visit and visit each other. And then after my school, after my university, I got pregnant for my first child. And that was the time I decided that we would just go and live together. Then he visited my home. And that is when I started seeing the real true colors of this man. And as an African woman, you have this belief that a man will change eventually. You just be there, and
Mm,
also the pressure from the society, from your parents. They'll be like, "No, stay. Stay. It's gonna be fine." And so I kept being there. He was a very violent human being, and I would see he was very abusive. He was very the it was so jealous. The obsession became very dangerous and stuff like that. You know, he'll check my phone day and night. You know, so many dangerous stuff that he used to do to me.
mm,
And before you know it, I conceived my second child, and then my third. I actually left when I was pregnant for my third child.
okay.
Yeah, it was something that I couldn't take no more because it became physically uh he became physically abusive. He was now hitting me.
Mm,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
So that was the time I said I have to leave. And I remember the time that he hit me. And even after I left, he kept following me. He kept following me. After I put to bed my third child, I'd already moved away from his house, but still he kept following me, looking for me where I was, wanting to rekindle. But I kept doing that for a very long time. I thought it would change, but it never changed. So I
Mhm.
decided that this is it. I started being with his kids, and he started. I remember he he took me to police. He wanted to get the kids, as young as that baby was. He wanted to grab the kids from me just to torture me,
Wow.
right? So he took me to police. Um, he would drag me back and forth to police and to the cops. Yeah, I would say that because I guess you understand it like that.
Yeah.
So until I just asked him one thing, I was like, probably just give me a chance to raise this young boy. He's very young. I can't just give it to you. Give this baby to you. So even the police were like, okay, fine. Maybe this one is young, you can take the rest. And then the rest also refused. They wanted to be with me. And then he said if I wanted to be with the kids, he would support me financially, nothing. And that is what he did. He just disappeared. If you
Mm,
called him, he was like, bring my kids here, bring them here, bring them here. So at one point, I just decided and said, it's okay, let me just raise them. But at a point, it became very overwhelming. And then I sat after I'd raised my third child. He was about two. He was about three. And then he took them. He took them.
wow. He just
Yeah.
came.
That was the worst moment of my life
Mm,
when he took my kids away from me. The house was very empty. It took me a month to recover
yeah.
from that. Yeah.
I imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. It took me a month and my house was so empty. I was depressed. I don't go to work thinking about my young child. He was very young. But yeah, that was my life. But
And how, so that whole time when you were having babies, you were also working as a journalist? already?
I was already working as a journalist.
Hmm.
And the issue that brought conflict in our house, he didn't want me to work, that I was getting into contact with a lot of men, that probably I am, you know, building relationships with them, sleeping with them, blah, blah, blah. He told me not to work and stuff like that. I said, I can't, because if I stop working, what am I going to do? I have to provide for myself. You won't be able to give me what I want, you know?
Right.
So I was working, at that time, I was working with Veritas FM, that is in Sorority. Yeah, I created my own show. It was a community show that was very popular, yeah, very, very popular. And I was hosting big officials from the district, internationally and stuff like that from the community. And that is when I got a job with TAC, Anti-Corruption Coalition, and also that is when I made that movie for them
Uh-huh.
through working for Veritas. So yeah, my show was sponsored by then, and I was doing well. Yeah,
What was the name of your show?
the community, the voice of the community.
Mm.
The voice of the community. So what I would do is go to a community, identify the problem that is affecting the community. Well, let's say a particular community. Let's say I don't know. I'll just give an example. I'll go to a community and identify what issue is affecting the community people there, and then come and air it on the radio, and then call the officials that are responsible for that to come and answer
Oh,
why they're not resolving that for that community. And
yeah.
then they'll be calling in. Yeah, they'll be calling in and asking so many questions. So it was a great show whereby I remember all these listeners will just come to the radio. Those ones who have never seen me, they'll pack up the radio and they want to see me, bringing me gifts, chicken, whatever. So it was amazing. Yeah,
Uh,
it was amazing. I loved it.
yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds like you were really able to be a voice for the community and shed light
Yes.
on the realities of
Yes,
what's
that
going on.
that has always been my dream. Yeah.
Mm. And is that what gave you the desire to go into journalism?
Yes. And I don't know actually, because when I was little, I just used to watch TV too much, and I would tell my dad, I want to be on TV. I want to be like that woman, on TV. And I just loved how outspoken they were, how confident they were, how smart they were. And I was admiring that. And I was like, I want to be like them. I
Mm.
want to do something for my people. That's how I felt. And then my dad was like, go for it. And then yeah, until I became a journalist. Since I was little, I just wanted to become one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then how did that evolve into the filmmaking? Like well, I think you told me when we first spoke how that journalism, as much as you love it, doesn't really pay the bills. So I don't know if that was.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So when I was at Veritas FM, even with the community show, what I did was um, um, get a gig with the organization that was TAC, Anti-Corruption Coalition. When they came into my show, they wanted to sponsor my show, and they paid the radio station, and then they were paying me too. So I was working for them and working for the radio station as well. So I was
Mm,
getting paid double, right? So that life was okay for me. I was getting enough for myself.
yeah.
But apparently here in Uganda, journalism is the least paying jobs. Is okay among the least paying jobs.
Mm,
You can't you can't survive on being a radio presenter here, especially um, in the upper upper region of the country. I'm not talking about the central. I think Kampala, one of the radio stations that I know pay their staffs very well is Capital FM, probably KFM and whatever. But when you come up countries, no, not at all. No. So that was the time, even if I wanted to be a journalist, but it was not putting food on my table as much, right?
Yeah.
And I decided to quit a little bit, right? But with film, still, I was doing film way back in school. Yeah, I was the head of our drama group at school, even at campus. I was doing film. I was shooting film for other people and stuff like that. And the same thing, film here doesn't pay that much, right? It hasn't yet hit, yeah, the market.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, then just last year is when I decided I want to do film seriously. Is when I founded Keddy Love Production. And I wanted to tell you, maybe I'll come to that we are organizing a mental campaign. And and I think I talked to you about that a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
So we
mental health, things related to mental health.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we are organizing a mental campaign that we're involving a lot of partners. We have raising hands. I've already approached raising hand. I've already approached um, um, the main hospital because they also have a program, the Gulu Referral Hospital. They have a government program that deals with mental health. I'm still approaching Women Rising.
Mm.
Also, I've wrote to them. So it's going to be a big thing, and that is going to happen next year. So we're still on the planning stage, but yeah, we're going through. We're going on. So do you know why? I will also explain to you why I wanted to do this mental health campaign. One time, as usual, as we go to the villages, we started screening, right? We screen films in homes, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Small screening in the community.
Okay.
So, yeah, so there's this film. I don't know if you watched um what is this film called? I just have to remember its name. So when we were screening this film, it wasn't my film, The Queen of Katwe. I don't
Oh
know
yeah, yeah, yeah.
if you
Yeah.
yes.
Great
Yes.
film.
So when we were screening the Queen of Katwe, and then this lady, the young woman, she pulled me aside. She was like, "Oh my God, so people are going through these same things everywhere." I was like, "Yeah,
Mm.
people are going through stuff." And she started narrating for me her story. And I was like, wow, you know, these women are suffering mentally here.
Yeah.
So in this campaign, we're going to do a lot, not only screening. We're going to do a little bit of education, sensitization about mental health, and we'll bring experts who bring therapists and all those people who move with them. Yeah, to talk about mental health basically and other activities,
Yeah.
right? So it's going to be big. And I want you to be a part of it as well.
I would love to.
Yeah.
So you're looking at mental health in general, or women or mothers' mental health, or just all of it?
Yeah, mostly, because I'm dealing with other organizations. They were like, okay, when I approached them, I want to do, this campaign for women and stuff like that. They were like, okay, why are you basing on only women and blah, 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 and stuff like that. I was like, okay, but women are the ones going through this mostly. Yeah, men are also, but all this luggage women are carrying on their shoulders,
Hmm.
unseen, right?
Yeah.
is affecting them mentally. You people don't see it because, first of all, as a woman, you don't want your children to see you break down because if you do, what is going to happen to them? You know, when you want to cry as a mother, you go to the bathroom or you go to the duck and then you cry.
Yeah. Yeah.
You cry so loud and then you come out and pretend like nothing happened.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, there's
yeah,
a
and
huge cost to that, right? Mentally, that, and like you said, this invisible load that we carry, and it's just very telling, like the response that you got of like, why would you focus on women? And like, why
yeah,
not? Why
why
not? We
not?
focus on men most of the time.
Why not? So they're like, oh, it's all about women. I was like, no, you guys don't understand what women go through. You
Yeah,
don't understand. You might think people just favor women. No. If you're a woman, you understand what a woman goes through.
yeah. And do
So
you feel,
basically, I think I want to focus on women most. Yeah.
yeah. Do you feel like culturally it's kind of taboo to speak about mental health challenges? Yeah.
Yes, that is one of culture is it's not a bad thing, but it's killing us, right? At the beginning, I told you when I was in this relationship, a man probably, let's say, a man will mistreat you. A man will really, really mistreat you, and you're really depressed in this marriage. But you are not allowed to leave this marriage because, one, for example, when you're married traditionally, they've already sold you. Initially, they've already bought you. You're this man's property,
Mm.
right? You're
Hmm.
this man's property. You're not allowed to go anywhere. It's just like you bought this cup. It's yours.
Hmm.
You know, you can do whatever you want to do with it. Okay, and it's something that is killing women. For
Yeah.
me, I usually tell them, even at my workplace, I would tell them, I don't really care how many kids I have with a man, even if I have 10, I'm gonna leave if I'm not happy. I'm gonna leave. I'm not gonna stay there. I'm like, you can't leave. You know, you have to raise kids need their fathers, both parents. Who said that?
Yeah.
Who said? No, nobody said that. Nobody said that a kid is supposed to be raised in a broken home.
Hmm.
It will affect them more than if you had left,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
they're in a toxic environment all the time, then that also has an impact for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
So in Africa, things are not yet right when it comes to men and women being in a relationship. You're not allowed. It's a taboo for you to just leave your marriage. My mother talked me into staying.
Uh-huh.
She would bring me home, talk to me. You can't leave me and your dad. I stayed. You think your dad was a good man? I stayed. I was like, that was you. Are you happy? Look at yourself.
Yeah.
Were you happy? No, I wasn't. But what? You know. So it's a different generation. You didn't have a choice, but I have a choice. I have choices. You
Yeah.
never had one. First of all, you were not making any money. You were tied there because of, okay, wait, what if I leave? What is going to happen to me? You know? But with me, I don't know about other people. I can leave and start a life and make it work. I'm not going to die in a relationship because a man is providing for me. And that's what is killing women here.
Yeah.
When you talk to 10 women, 8 out of 10 will tell you that, okay, what is going to happen to me when I leave? You
Mm.
know,
Yeah.
where will I start from? What will I do? That's why they're stuck there,
Hmm. And for
but they're
you,
not happy.
The pathway out of that was having an education.
Yes, yes. Having being exposed,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah,
I was exposed. I knew that no matter what, I will make it. I'll make ends meet. And education was one of it.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Key thing. You sent me a trailer for a film,
Mhm.
a short film that you made. Can you tell us a little bit about it, and then we'll play the trailer?
Oh, wow. Yen is a movie, is a short story about a boy called Daniel. And Daniel was a is a bright, genius child, but because of poverty, he couldn't reach his potentials or achieve his dreams. So I came up with this movie because many of our children, no matter how bright they are, they schools right now, uh, you can only attend school when you can afford it, right? No matter how genius you are. So I showed Ian, I'll tell you a bit about the story basically because what you're showing right now is a trailer, right?
Right.
So I'll tell you a little bit about the story. The story is about this boy, a 9-year-old boy, Daniel, who is a very clever child. He's a genius. And the system alone couldn't handle his his smartness. So he would out challenge teachers, and they became very hostile to him, right? And then also his parents couldn't afford his school fees. And also, this story shows a child who is being manipulated and used in our community. You'll find in a whole movie, I'll send it to you. In a whole movie, he'll be going on fixing cars, computers, TVs. But these people use him instead of maybe contributing towards his education or something. They'll just give him like 2,000 shillings or give him a bottle of soda so he can go with it,
Mm,
right? But then there's this man, he's a gate man, who who reflects his life from Daniel, and then he seeks help for Daniel, right? He had somebody he knew who owned a school for
mm,
special needs, who say that Daniel had, because he was so smart that these ordinary systems could not handle him. So the gate man had to go and look for the scholarship and then handed it over to Daniel. At the end of it all, Daniel was able to go get education and then achieve his dreams. So we learn in this movie that just one person can change a child's life. You're right. So you have to give an opportunity to whatever kid you see around to achieve their dreams.
mm.
So yeah, that's the story of Daniel.
Beautiful. All right, well, let's take a look
Yeah.
at the clip.
Why is that boy seated under the tree while the rest are in class?
Yes, they pay school fees. That school is not equipped enough for a boy like Daniel.
When I'm on the mic, I make your favorite rapper Mrs. Bowles. No debate, so when I enter the room, my coach change.
The curriculum of that school is challenged by Daniel.
Oh, yeah. You want me to be a drunkard like you?
What are we going to do about Daniel's school fees?
Erupt a fight and my flow is unique. Only a click away from getting you a rose like a creek. If ever up a lockdown, be a
Cool. I didn't realize the first time I looked at it that you were in it. Now I saw you. Oh,
Yeah, I was the head teacher right there.
yeah. Cool.
I was
Yeah.
the head teacher.
I want to see the whole thing. And is Danielle a real boy that you followed, or is it just a story that's common, that happens commonly?
Um, most of the kids here, Daniel is just one of the stories I could
Yeah.
come up with. Yeah. And is one of the boys. Actually, it's kind of a true life story. Daniel's father, okay, Daniel is not the real boy. That was an actor, but the
Hmm.
father gave me the right to tell the story, right? Of this boy. And after looking at him, and when he narrated for me all the story, and I could relate also to the things that I see, the people that I see in my community, and I decided that yeah, let me tell this story. So it's just one of the stories around.
Yeah.
It's just one of it, but there are a lot. Very many kids are denied education just because they can't afford to go to school. But there's this very smart, they're very intelligent. Education now is only for those ones who can afford.
So,
That's how
yeah, wow. So even public school is not free?
they will say it's free. They will say it's free, but because I'll tell you, we would go to communities and they'll say school is free, but at the end of it all, you'll find that very many kids are at home. Then you ask them, why are they home? Then they'll tell you they're asking for this amount of money. And when you hear the amount of money they're asking is very little. I don't know, you've been here and you know our currency. Let's say it's just about 28,000 shillings.
Mm,
And a mother can afford 28,000 shillings.
yeah, yeah,
And especially I'll talk about it's a mother because fathers are always not in the picture here.
yeah.
Most
That's
of the fathers are not in the picture. So
yeah,
you find that most of the kids are home. So if you can't afford education, your kid won't study and they won't be nowhere. And without education now, it's tight.
yeah, yeah.
It's tight.
Well, it's really great that you're bringing light to this issue and so many other issues that I think are important to mothers and to families. And um,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thank you for your work and for your time today. And is there anything else that you'd like to share before we close? And if you have any links that you want to share, I mean, I'll share them in the show notes, but yeah, if you're on social media or where people can find you.
Um, the funny thing is, I'm not, it's not so good for me to say this loud, but I'm not a very good social media person, but this is going to force me to have links. I
Yeah.
have an Instagram account, but I hardly use that. My communication is mostly WhatsApp and um, yeah, even on TikTok, no, maybe then I'm on X as well. So
Hmm.
basically, I'll share what I can,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'll share what I can. But my last words is anyone can do something to change the life of even just one person in our community. It doesn't take much to do that. I don't have much, but just the feeling that I have to help others is so overwhelming that I'll sacrifice anything that I have to see that the other person smiles. So basically, yeah. So right now, I'm working on a project as well. I'll share with you the script. I promise to do that. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna. I already done with the script. Is on mental health. Yeah, and we're gonna shoot that film. At least we want to shoot like 3 mental health before that campaign. Yeah, and it's gonna be big. It's gonna be big. You see. But
Nice.
also, I want you
Can't
to be a
wait.
part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well,
Yeah,
thank
I
you so
want you.
much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for having me.
You're very
I'm
welcome.
very happy to be here to be hosted by you, and I look forward to us having more and more of these kind of conversations. It's my first time. Probably I've forgotten something. I wasn't so prepared, but this was like more like a discussion that we usually have.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.